evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, and bringing you information about your library and your community. And this evening my guest is Jackie Colgan, who's here representing the Illinois Art League, and they're celebrating 55 years of existence this year, and we're glad they are. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Tricia. Good to see you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you guys are very busy. I'm excited because once again we have you coming to the Peoria Public Library, to our big, lovely gallery.
That's right.
Which is at Main Library on lower level 1, outside local history. And anybody who hasn't been there yet, it's a spectacular space.
It is a beautiful space.
Yeah,
and we'll be there the whole month of July.
The whole month of July, right?
It's great for the Art League.
Yeah, and what's nice about art at the library is there's no pressure. You just, if you're in the library, wander down. I mean, a lot of people will come just to see the exhibit, but if you're not a hardcore art fan, this is a good way to get a little dose of art. It's free. It's open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, so plenty of time to enjoy. Come back and see it again.
That's right. It's just a taste of art from Central Illinois artists.
Yeah, which is great because it gives you an appreciation for the talented people who live here, your neighbors, your friends, your family. And it's great for the artists, too, because you do have new members who've not exhibited before.
Right. This will be an opportunity for their very first exhibit, and it's kind of a good way to just dip their toe in the waters and get comfortable with having their art on display.
And having people look at it and comment on
it.
Right.
And you know, you can invite your family and friends to come down, and that's always nice, too.
Yeah, and then you're a real artist because it's in a gallery.
Once it's out there, you are a real artist.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Go from being hobbyist to real artist because you're on a wall.
A lot of hard work along the way, but yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and this isn't the only thing you do. You do a lot of things throughout the year. Can you tell me about some of the different activities you do?
Yes, we do. We've had a couple of past events. One was our meet and greet, which was in April. And that was really just a chance for anyone interested in the Art League or who thought they might have an interest to come and meet some of the fellow members. And it's sort of a social evening as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you do that every year?
We do that every year.
So like people could look for it next year? About when do you do it?
I think it was April 13th this year. Okay. So it's always a spring event, and usually probably mid-April, somewhere in there. And it's at the Peoria Heights Library.
Oh, okay.
And they're kind enough to let us use that space, and it's just a fun social evening. And you know, this year we actually had several artists demonstrating.
Oh,
so that was, I think, a little bit more fun, you know, for someone kind of new to come in and see what these other members are doing.
Yeah, that is, to be able to see that kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, so the meet and greet.
And then we just had our annual membership show. This was our 55th show, and it was also held in the Heights at the Village Hall in Tower Park. And that's just a chance for all the members of the league to exhibit and actually sell their artwork. Mm-hmm. And I think we had about 70 or 75 pieces. And,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's a judged event, and so there are ribbons and cash awards. And it's, again, it's held on a Friday afternoon, and then again the following Saturday all day, like 9 to 4, and chance to, again, get your artwork out there and maybe sell a few pieces and just, you know, enjoy the camaraderie of the other artists. And we have a reception on Friday evening.
Oh, nice.
And this is an annual event, so
look for it next year.
Yes, look for it next year.
And I should point out, we don't sell things at the library, but if somebody really falls in love with a painting, we will always give you contact information that they can contact the Illinois Art League and
find out
do a private deal.
Yes, exactly, right, because that is just an exhibition, but it, you know, it is a chance for the artists to get their name out there, and like you said, if someone really loves their work,
and we do have that happen. We have people
ask
how to buy, you know, a piece. That happens all the time.
Oh, great!
It's
good
just,
to know.
The library needs to be a space where we're not doing commerce all the time. And
I totally, I get that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, when we have authors or musicians, it's always a matter of you buy the book or buy the CD, and 20% has to go to support the Friends of the Library. So therefore, it becomes a fundraiser.
Right.
So that's the way we do that, if people are wondering.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our show the show with you in July.
Right.
And then what about the rest of the year? People
this
busy
year,
creating? Or?
Yeah, well, hopefully, yes. The artists are all busy creating because they know there are these upcoming events. But this year, for the first time, we're going to be part of Ignite Peoria.
Oh, great.
Which is on Saturday, August 8th at the Civic Center. And we're excited because I think it was new. I think last year was the inception of this event. And we just, I guess, didn't know enough about it to get involved. So we thought this year we need to have a presence, and we're going to have a booth down there, and again, have some artists demonstrating pen and ink, watercolor, colored pencil, pastel, and we're hoping to just do a little creation station within that booth where if people want to come up and just try a little watercolor or pen and ink or something like that, just, just for the fun of it.
Have the tools there.
Take a little souvenir home, right.
Oh, nice. That's a great way to do that.
Yeah, and I think that, I'm excited in general for that event. I think it will be a lot of fun just to see what other booths are there, and it's a good way for us to get our name out there, and we'll have flyers and brochures in case anyone has an interest in joining. So.
Yeah. So what about the rest of the year? Any other big events going on?
In the fall, we are still in the midst of planning this, but every year we offer several workshops, and I've neglected to mention we had 2 in May. One was a watercolor with Stephen Blackburn, and we had an oil workshop with Elizabeth Robbins, and both well attended and actually sold out. But they were great events. It's just a chance for the artists to have some continuing education and improve their skills. But we're hoping to do another workshop in the fall, September, October sometime. This one will probably be member taught, which just means we have a number of professional artists who are in the league, and they do teach classes, and so we haven't lined up a specific artist or artist yet, but that's in the works.
Oh, great. Okay.
Right. And then,
so do you got, well, go ahead.
Sorry. And then we have coming up in in December and January, we will have an exhibit at the Time Gallery in Clock Tower Place over in the Levy District in East Peoria.
Great.
And so that will be a show as well as a sale, and it runs for the months of December and January.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Okay, yeah.
So that's a great opportunity for the league, and we're just kind of getting that word out to our artists now because it's a fairly recent development. So we've been working with, I believe it's Don Maloney over there, and so we're quite excited.
Oh, that is great. Okay.
Right.
So do you just have like meetings too?
We have monthly meetings, and we have small interest groups that meet. We have a watercolor group, a plein air outdoor painting, pen and ink, colored pencil, pastel, oil and acrylic. And then there is something called the All Artists Group, which meets once a month at the Humana Building, and they just offer us the space for free, which is wonderful. And you bring whatever you are working on, other than oil. They don't want to have the oil paint there. And you bring whatever you're working on. And it's just a good collaboration among the artists, a chance to see what other people are doing. You get to know some of the other members of the league, and it's really just a fun afternoon. So,
what does it cost to join the Illinois Art League?
It's $30 a year, so very reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable for all your benefits.
Right, you get the opportunity to exhibit and possibly sell your work. You get a monthly newsletter. There are these ongoing workshops that you can attend, and then there's the monthly interest groups. So, it's
and so
it's
who
well
runs
worth it.
this? Who runs this organization?
Leslie Walsh is my co-president, so it's the two of us, and we have a great board. There's about 12 on the board, including us, and
but you're all volunteers.
We're all volunteers, right? There are no paid positions, and sometimes I feel like I have a part-time job.
Yeah,
I know Leslie
bet.
does as well, but that's what it takes to keep events on the table and have things that the members can look forward to. And we have a lot of support from our members. They help out with all the various events. So
yeah, and that's great.
It works out well.
So how many people are in the Illinois Art League?
We have about 100 members right now. So,
oh, that's great.
Right.
And how big an area does that cover?
It's central
Does it
Illinois.
say Illinois?
It's central Illinois, right. But we do have an artist from Mount Vernon, Bloomington, Galesburg, Princeville, Lakin, Morton, Metamora, all the small areas surrounding central Illinois, then a little further south. So
yeah, okay. Let's see, I've got all your events here. What about the history? How long has this been around? We said 55 years, but how and why did it get started?
On May 16th, a group of about 8 artists, local artists, decided that they wanted to form a league. And it was initially called the Illinois Valley Art League. And the purpose of it was just to promote an appreciation of fine art here in central Illinois, and also to support the local artists, give them an opportunity to exhibit and sell their work in various shows, and also provide them with some ongoing education through workshops. And so they brought in, as we did this year, some more nationally known artists to present some workshops, and then they have had, I think the member taught workshops have gone on for quite a few number of years. I don't know exactly because I'm newer to the league, but so that was the purpose of it, and it's still the same today. So.
And I think the Peoria Public Library has kind of a long-standing history with the Illinois Art League. We used to have just we had just a small gallery space upstairs. We had the boards that ran down between the art and the science room and the children's room when we were all divided up in little departments. And so
when would that have been?
Well, that was before we redid the buildings, and for a couple of years we would put things up on the main floor. We started that whole renovation and redoing the library by combining all those rooms upstairs. We took down all the barriers, and then we didn't have a space anymore. So we did do some things like the Rennick Historical Society show downstairs by just putting up those display boards in the middle of the downstairs main floor. But then after we renovated the building, which it's been 4 years already since that renovation was completed and opened, we've had the gallery available, which
is great. Right.
Yeah, stays pretty full. It's part of.
I imagine it does. What do you besides the Rennick show?
We have
I know you
the
had a Lincoln
Congressional
exhibit.
Art Show. We do have some historical and science things coming. We've had the one about the American Songbook because we've been fortunate to get some large traveling exhibits, and we've had things like Lincoln and the Constitution. And we actually had to put this one on the main floor, but we had the one about Emancipation Proclamation and the Civil Rights Movement that were 150 years apart or something, and big photos and big boards that you could walk through and read about them. So, but we had another exhibit going on at the time. But we've had individual artists. We've had
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, Central Illinois Arts Organization, the folks that do the First Friday. Event, Chow. Yeah, Chow. Right. Nobody knows who they are when you say Central Illinois Arts
I know,
Organization.
as soon as you said that, I thought, I don't know that group.
Who is
but
that?
Yes, I do know Chow.
Chow.
Yes.
And Chow has done exhibits, and we've had the veterans. The Purple Heart Society does one of all veterans art.
I didn't realize that. That's great.
In the month of June, we have Living Proof exhibit. Which is cancer survivor art, and that is an organization out of the Quad Cities that's spreading their wings a little bit because they tell me they had a 5-year plan and they met all their goals in the first year, and there's such a demand.
That's amazing.
There's such a demand for the art therapy, and they've gotten grants and they've done fundraisers, and the Quad Cities has a place called Gilda's House, Gilda's Room, something named after Gilda Radner, which is a center where cancer patients, survivors, their families can go, and they do things like, I know one of the things they did that I thought was really truly therapy was they had hospital gowns they chopped up and turned into paper, and then they made the paper into journals, and then they wrote or drew, so it was something that they hated so much turning into something beautiful.
Yes, that sounds very therapeutic.
But it is really interesting because you have people who've never done art before, but they explain to me, sometimes they were sick and somebody who had always danced couldn't dance, or somebody who had written that parts of their mind were just like gone because they were so ill, but they could wield a paintbrush and do something, or they teach them to do things like simple prints, and they're really spectacular. So
I'm sure they are. I have a friend who is an artist, and she believes that everyone has an inner artist.
Yes.
And it's just an opportunity. If you have that chance to try something, you might be very surprised. So.
Yeah, I worked with the Picture Person program for many, many years with kids, and kids are so just paint away, draw away. They never question what they're doing. They never question what they've just done, that it's not good.
They're more forgiving than adults.
Yeah, anything they do, they think is wonderful, and all the other kids think is wonderful. And then you'd see the parents come into the art show, and you'd have somebody who wanted their kid to be a football player, and they'd see this as unmanly. I remember those days.
Really?
Yeah, which is sad because
it is sad.
Art's part of all of our lives. You can
be both.
Yeah, well, but you can't function if you don't know some basic art information. How can you decorate your house? How can you pick out the logo for your company? Know whether it's good or not. You can't function.
Good points.
Even if you have nothing to do with art anytime, it's still going to influence your life
in some way or,
in some
or another,
way.
right?
You know, how do you know what to hang on your walls? How do you know what color carpet to buy? You know, and we'll leave the colorblind men out of that out of that equation.
Yes, definitely.
But it is. It's everywhere, and business people or strictly business people still have to, I think, understand some principles so that they know if the people working for them are doing good work or not.
Right.
You know, which you don't want
That
them in
makes
there criticizing.
a lot of sense.
And it takes so much away when we don't have art in schools.
Yeah,
So
it's a real shame.
the more art gets cut in school, the more we have to look to things like the library and Illinois Art League to fill those gaps.
Very true.
So if we can't
Very
have
true.
art education, at least you can come to the library and see art.
Right, right, and enjoy it at the at the very least.
Which we do have a lot of public art also, and people have been able to enjoy that, what's hanging on our walls. And
when you say public art, what is that?
public art means art that's available for anybody to see anytime. And it's things like the new sculpture walk that's just launched.
Okay.
And when we have a painting hung on our wall, like we have a WPA from the 1930s during the Depression, they hired artists to paint. We have a wonderful WPA painting that hangs in our copy center on the second floor at Main. We have some lovely watercolors and paintings at all of our branches, right up to, we have at North Branch behind the checkout self-check, there's a triptych of sunflowers that are done with the Loinigs, Eileen and Doug Loinig, with their light painting, which is a combination of photography and art.
Right.
So all those things are considered public art.
Yeah, okay. I
And
was just curious. Well, at one point, I had a friend who asked me, I had taken a trip to Africa, and she wanted photographs, and they were hung in maybe the Lincoln Branch and maybe the McClure. I don't remember.
Some of them were hung at
so
Lincoln
that's what I
Branch, I
assume
think.
was what
Public
you meant
art.
by public art.
Yep,
So,
it's art that's there for anybody to enjoy. You don't have to make a special trip to see it.
Right.
Although, of course, our Arts Partners group puts together, you know, booklets on where you can see all these things and has a database. If you just wanted to go look at art, you've got some time, you don't have any money.
Yes,
you can look up on their database, or
free.
if somebody comes to visit, you can invent your own tour seeing public art in Peoria. And so the library tries to be part of that with the gallery and having all these exhibits. But of course, the other way we support artists is our vast collection of books and materials that, you know.
Which is, if you're an artist, I mean, there's not much that's more helpful than that, than doing the actual hands-on. But I've learned a lot just from reading from various books and.
Well, for the lifelong learner, and artists are always lifelong
they are.
learners
Well,
because they're
hopefully.
always wanting to
Improve.
go the next step. I've never met an artist who didn't want to go the next step and get better. Nobody's ever satisfied with
I think
what they've
that's
done.
very true, and you're often your own worst critic, but that is what also makes you, I think, a better artist, because
I
you
think so,
strive
too.
for some perfection, or if not that, then at least to better, you know, the next painting should be better than the one before. So,
which is great
That's our
if
goal.
people come and look at art and then wander upstairs, and we have so many lovely books, and you can learn more about either how to do it or famous artists of the past, or, you know, there's just, you know, we've got a huge collection. And of course, if you want to watch about the life of an artist, we have all the great DVDs that are, you know, biographies that have been on different things. So that's always nice too, to be able to see all of those.
yeah, that certainly is great resources for local artists. So.
Well, we don't want to forget that we have some lovely images here.
Yes, we
And
do.
these are folks who are going to, are all of them going to exhibit, do you think?
I think the majority, if I look at the list, I think the majority of them are. I'm not positive of whether or not each particular artist is, but most of these images were taken from our Illinois Art League website, and it's called Artist Pages. And this first one is Sharon Summers, and it's a watercolor. Sharon, I know, has been a member for quite a long time in the league, and she obviously does beautiful work. But
Love the hollyhocks.
yeah,
Perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, really, really pretty.
Okay, we'll pull up another one here.
And this is Kathy Sherman's Pen and Ink. And again, Kathy's been a member of the league, I think, for quite some time. She does a variety of artwork, including watercolors, and I think this is maybe a newer medium for her. But
Okay, is this something local, or? Do you
I
even
don't know.
I always want to know where it is.
I know, and I wish I had the titles for this artwork. Unfortunately, I don't. This is Bobby Schwander. She is from Morton, and she's these are all members of the league, but she's actually a friend of mine, and we paint together over in Morton on Thursdays, and so this was something that she's done fairly recently.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
And that's oil. This is another friend, Sherry Burritt, and she's also part of our Morton painting group, and very abstract. Sherry.
Yeah, it just looks like the Illinois River to me.
Yeah, she's very creative. She does paint in oil, but she does a variety of. It's not all abstract, but I wanted to include this because it's different than some of the other pieces that we have.
It's not roses and
right, not
it's
all
very
flowers.
lovely.
This is my co-president, Leslie Walsh, and this is her rendition of Bastos in the Heights. And this is colored pencil. And Leslie's father was an architect, and you can see it in just about everything she does. She is very precise and very meticulous. And we work well together. I'm so grateful that she's doing this job with me because it would be a little intimidating on its own.
all by yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know we all appreciate the volunteers that give so much time to do things like this.
Well, and
that almost looks like Paris.
it does. That's exactly what it reminded me of. And this is Florence Gaffney. She's another friend that I paint with in Morton, and she actually is the one who organized the Elizabeth Robbins oil painting workshop. And I think she's been painting for about 6 years, and her medium is always oil. But
nice.
This
That's
one
very nice.
is amazing. This is Ed Burton, and he's from Bloomington. Okay. And this is a watercolor. He does all different types of, it's not always portraits. He does flowers. He does, seascapes, all kinds of things. But yes, he's
a variety of subjects.
A variety of subjects, and very talented.
Always in watercolor?
I believe, though I'm not positive on that.
Okay.
This is Michael Aldig. He's our Mount Vernon artist. And,
all right.
He's a younger man, and again, lots and lots of talent. This one is colored pencil. He also does oil. I know he has a big piece. He's entering in our show, entered in our show, in the membership show. I think it's called Former Monastery or something like that. But yeah, he's just a big supporter of the league and a proud member. So.
Oh, great. Okay. That looks like typical rural Illinois to me.
That could be. This is actually mine, and it's called Diva. And it's just a pansy I had growing in a pot on my front porch, and it's watercolor. I tend to do a lot of florals because I'm an avid gardener, and I really like florals, yes. So it does. This is Rose Sullivan, and she's just great. She's a member of the league and has been for quite some time, and this is her working on a colored pencil piece, and I don't know, I think that she does watercolors well. I'm not positive, but the next piece is also hers. And she's just a great member of the league. I think she's gotten into birds more recently, so this is...
Yeah, our Illinois Cardinals.
Right, right.
Love seeing them.
Yes, me too. That means it's spring, right? This is Mary Hildebrand, and I believe she's been a member of the league for quite some time. She paints in oil, and I mean, there's not much to say. Her work is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I know this
she's
piece
inspiring.
has been displayed at the library before in another show, but it's so lovely.
It is just beautiful. This is Bev Poland. She was our former president for the past 2 years before Leslie and I took over, and I think this is colored pencil.
Okay.
And she does watercolor as well, and she's just started to dabble in oil a bit, but I think her most recent things have been the colored pencil.
Nice.
And I don't know the significance of the building, unfortunately.
It looks like a one-room schoolhouse.
It does.
To me.
It does, and I don't know where the image
like
came
it says
from.
Something iron something school. So it's probably one of the still existing little schoolhouses.
I'll have to ask her the next time I see her where that came from.
Yeah, I was on a road out in the country because I had to take a detour, and it said something school road, and all of a sudden there I was on the road ran into. And I was like, I can't believe how many of these still exist. So many of them have been turned into homes. There's, in fact, the next house down from me. out in the country, had been a one-room schoolhouse.
Really? And now it's a home.
Yeah, it's been a home for many, many years. And I have another good friend who they live in what was a one-room schoolhouse. They've added on to it and done so much you'd never know. But it's fun to hear people talk about, you know,
I would think it'd be fairly small.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how much adding on you do.
Yeah,
but
how much adding on you do and rooms and all that. But yeah, that's lovely. Ceramics.
Ceramics, yes. This is, you know, I wanted to include this because it's different from all the paintings. And this is Susie Ryan. I'm not quite sure where, she's I think possibly Dunlap, I'm not positive. But she does all different types of ceramics. And I don't know if she's in the show this year. I'm hoping, but I'm not in charge of that. Bev
of recruiting the artists.
Yes, Bev Poland's doing that, so I don't know exactly who's
Well, if
entered.
they don't see it at the library, they may see her somewhere else with all the things you're doing.
Very possibly. And this is Todd Snyder, and it's an oil. I'm afraid I don't have a lot of information about him, but I can't tell you even what town he is from, but he is a member of the league, and so this is his work, and again, I don't know the titles, and I'm sorry for that.
Oh, that's all right. It looks like a grain elevator to me.
Right. Yeah, he tends to do sort of industrial a little bit.
This is our last one.
This is Jean Fell, a watercolor, and she's been a member of the league for quite some time, and you know, just does beautiful work as well. Yeah. So there are many talented artists. I pulled most of these images from our artist pages, but there are a lot of artists out there who don't have those pages as yet. We're working on that, and so there'll be more to see.
Well, thank you so much. We're pretty much out of time.
Great.
So thanks for bringing all these images and telling us about the art show. You can see all the artwork at the from the Illinois Art League at the Peoria Public Library Main Library Gallery, downtown in the corner of Main and Monroe. And it's there the month of July, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, and it's free. Come and see it, and we'll see you next week on Information Please.